Hey there YouTube! Well, today I wanted to show you all the most unique vehicle in the Cadillac lineup, the ELR, courtesy of Crestmont Cadillac of Beachwood, Ohio, by the way. Anyways, what makes this ELR so unique? Some of you are thinking, is it because it's a coupe, its size, its paint finish? No. This is the only electric car in the Cadillac lineup. Some of you may have already known that, and some of you probably think that it's just a glorified and overpriced version of the Chevrolet Volt. Really, it's quite different. It's a totally different car. The biggest similarity is the Delta 2 platform that it rides on. But of course there's differences to the suspension and the overall size of this thing, as obviously this is a coupe. It's not a full electric car like the Nissan Leaf, Tesla Model S, Model E, or Model X, or whatever models they are coming up with right now. The main difference is that this uses a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. It serves as a generator, pumps out 84 horsepower, but again, it really doesn't matter in this case. Doesn't have anything to do with the propulsion. The engine just charges up a battery. What matters is the electric motor, which pumps out a hefty 295 foot-pounds of torque. And guess what? At 0 RPM, that's possible because it's an electric motor. It doesn't have to rev up like a gasoline engine to reach its peak amount of torque. It's just instant. And there's no gearbox of choice either because of the electric motor. It's a direct drive unit. It just goes and goes and goes until it reaches its maximum speed limit, which I have no clue what that is. You can also plug it in right at home in your standard 110 volt power outlet or a 240 volt power outlet. Obviously with the 240 volt, you charge the battery in half the time, which is about 4 or 5 hours, so just double the time if it's done with the 110 volt. Putting all those gritty statistics to the side, let's just concentrate on the looks of this thing. It's freaking sexy and you can't deny it. The ELR screams presence, class, and begs for your attention, which it does so successfully. It's sharp, chiseled, and so handsome from wherever you look at it, and from in back, you're staring at its tall, wide shoulders. Looking at the grille, it's traditional Cadillac here. It takes up almost the entire front end. Standing at the street corner of an intersection or looking in the rearview mirror, you'll know when you're looking at a Cadillac. It'll be hard to confuse it. Fortunately, this design language was carried over to the ELR because it's the same deal with the ATS, CTS, and Escalade. All of them have this captivating presence that is easy to identify. I'm so in love with the roofline, just the way it flows from front to back. Really has a modern look to it. It's just impossible to fault the looks of the ELR. It really is. Not many cars out there possess the appearance and presence that the ELR has. A look at these 20-inch wheels. They do a great job of filling in the wheel wells, and in no way do they look tiny. Just the perfect size. LED headlights, and that is a smart decision as LEDs are one of the most efficient light sources out there. Alright, let me show you the trunk. Considering the size of this car, trunk space isn't half bad. It's quite deep, wide, and tall. The hinges would intrude somewhat if you were to pack it to the max. As you can see, they're not concealed. Now, as we pull open this lid, we'll find your charging cord. It comes equipped with every ELR. Open this other lid, and we'll find your air compressor. Keep in mind, there's no spare tire, and every ELR comes with run-flat tires. Once you open the door, you're greeted by a beautiful looking interior. It's stylish, sleek, and I guess we can say masculine. The design language of the dashboard, the center stack, and whatnot, it's very similar to that found inside the ATS, CTS, and in the Escalade. So as you transition between all of these cars, the interiors will look familiar to you, and also maintains consistency between all the models. The door panel is soft to the touch. I love the choice of different materials here, from leather, suede, wood grains, and carbon fiber, along with these chrome inserts. So many different surfaces here, along with this piano black finish. Yeah, everything is soft to the touch, including the armrest, the door locks, memory seating up to 2 settings, power mirrors, and both front windows have auto up and down functions. And this is your door latch. You push this button to open the door once you seat it inside. Down to the door pocket, everything is soft to the touch. Even inside the door pocket, the fuel filler lid, and to pop the trunk. Now the seats look great, all that stitching, very bolstered, and so many different contours. It's not bland at all. Would have liked perforated inserts, would have added a nice touch to these seats, but oh well. Powered seats, here are the controls. Move it back and forth, the height, tilt it for more thigh support. This is for the backrest and the lumbar support. So let's take a quick look in the back seat. You can roll the driver's seat back and forth by pushing this button. It'll roll back and forth, makes it easy for yourself if you want to enter the back seat, or if you're a passenger stuck in back and you want to get out. You would need to pull on this latch to tilt the backrest. The back seat is beautifully designed. I love how the center console just flows all the way to the back. The armrest, everything is soft to the touch. See all the side panels, and you have these bucket-style seats as opposed to a bench, thanks to the center console. The smart key is in my pocket, so foot on the brakes and touch away. As you can obviously tell, the design language from the ATS, CTS, and somewhat with the Escalade follows through into the ELR, so we're in familiar territory here. Just subtle differences on the dashboard, the instrument cluster, and whatnot, but overall everything is the same. Choice of materials are a little bit better than all the other Cadillacs that I've reviewed. The headliner, for example, has this suede finish into the back seat. That panel for the rear deck is also padded. Absolutely everything you put your hands on within this interior is soft to the touch. So this very well could be one of the best interiors I've ever seen General Motors produce. Entire dashboard is soft to the touch. I love the stitching. You have these suede inserts, wood grains, and carbon fiber. Such a huge variety of materials here, but it works out nicely. As you can see, there's no latch for the glove box, but to open it up, just like in the other cars, push away and the glove box drops open. As you saw, it's damp, so it won't slam open and bang you on your knees. You have those two levels within the glove box right there. It's average size, but it's nothing to go yay about, but it's of a decent size. There's dual latches, so it shouldn't flap around even if you go on a bumpy surface. So that's good. The lid is soft to the touch, and so is everything on the side of the center stack. Everything's well done. The seats are very comfortable, bolstered nicely on the backrest and in the bottom section too, though unfortunately there's no thigh support adjustments. I feel as if I could use a little bit more over here. To be honest, I really don't mind the way it is, but it's just a preference. Legroom is adequate, the footwells don't feel narrow or tight. If anything, it feels quite similar to the CTS. Shoulder room is adequate too, so even for an adult of my size, I'm 6'1" by the way, I wouldn't mind being within this for hours and hours and hours. Once again, we're reacquainted with the Q infotainment system. It's the same exact setup like in the Escalade, CTS, and ATS I've reviewed. The only thing is, we have the Energy app over here, and this provides general information of the battery. As you can see, the capacity of it, charging information, you can see all the stats to that, and go to info, how efficient you're driving and whatnot, but you guys get the idea. As I've explained before, you have these little shortcuts. I'm hitting the little snowflake, which takes you to your climate control. As you go to max, this pretty much tells you how much power the climate control is drawing, such as the AC compressor, heat. Go to eco, and it makes the AC system slightly more efficient, and if you want to use it to a minimum, common sense. This is the most efficient the system will work. Go to the little compass right there, the little globe, and this is basically your nav system. And really, it's a very clear map. You can pinch in and outwards. As you can see, everything is very clear, crisp, and vibrant. Love the use of different colors there. Though, as you can see, it's quite laggy, and it's the same exact issue with all the other Cadillacs I reviewed with the Q system. There's just not enough horsepower. Hit the phone and it's common sense. All you need to do is pair your phone along with it, but obviously I don't have anything paired to it. Hit the speaker and this takes you to your radio. This thing has HD radio, satellite radio, USB connectivity, aux jack, Bluetooth, just about everything that you can possibly want. Again, we're acquainted with the home screen. You have Pandora, climate control, weather updates, phone settings and whatnot. And this gives you a little row of your radio station presets, so that's quite handy. Now, everybody criticizes this infotainment system, and it really won't be so bad at all. It's fairly nice, it just needs that extra horsepower. Hazards, lane departure, glove box latch, and parking sensors. This thing has front and rear parking sensors. The familiar touch panel, as you put your finger on any of these little symbols, you'll feel a little motor within this panel vibrate, which gives you a sense that you're pushing a button, so it's quite nice. It provides more feedback. And again, you push the little symbols to work this thing, not the bar. Everybody starts rubbing over here or sliding, but no, you just tap onto it and it works just fine. As you can see, it's very responsive in that case, and it's working quite nicely. Adjust the temperature to your dual zone automatic climate control and your heated seats. The ELR doesn't come with ventilated seats, unfortunately. I'm assuming that's going to be an option in the future. And this panel also opens up. Just touch it below and it flips up. Inside, you have your USB port. I love how it's surrounded with this blue ring, so you'll always find it even when it's pitch black outside. You also have a little LED inside illuminating this little cubby, so that's very convenient. To close this panel, all you need to do is just tap it on top and it closes away. Again, I love the use of all these leather surfaces. Everything is soft to the touch and padded. Nicely done. There's cup holders in here. This thing opens up electrically, just like in the CTS, and you'll see your cup holders. And to close it, just guide it forward a little bit and it shuts itself. And we have this lid over here, push it away, and another little cubby in there with the power outlet. The shifter feels nice in your hand. I love the leather surfaces that surround it. This thing doesn't have a transmission. It's just an electric drive. The electric motor just goes forever and ever and ever until it reaches its speed limit. Pop it into reverse and we'll meet the backup camera. Notice the little guide. It twists along with the steering wheel, so that's pretty handy. This is for your driving mode. Put it into sport and it firms up the suspension, the steering, and pretty much makes this thing handle like a sports car, so they say. When you have it in mountain, going in hilly terrains, that's when you're going to need the most power, so the engine just stays on longer just so that you won't deplete your battery. And when you have it in hold, basically you're using the gas engine and just save the juice in your battery for another occasion. Stability and traction control. Open up the center console, and it's quite a decent storage space in there. It goes pretty far back too. There's another power outlet in here, 2 USB ports, a media card slot, and the aux jack. Center console is sure-footed, and it better be since it goes all the way to the back seat. The armrest is padded nicely, very soft for your elbows, and I love the stitching that surrounds it. Hands-free controls, cruise control. This does have the adaptive cruise control, heated steering wheel, volume controls, and let me show you how you can fluctuate things in the instrument cluster by pushing these buttons. I'm gonna have to admit that I love the look of this instrument cluster. It just has such a modern look, but right now it's in classic enhanced, but let me show you a little bit over here. Now, as in modern, and you have digital readout and this green ring, take it to classic enhanced, and it shows you more information in the sides. Take it to modern enhanced and it's the same deal. Aside from that green ring and the digital readout, you have the same on each side of the speedometer. Take it back to classic. Actually, take it to classic enhanced. And of course you can change pretty much anything you want in here. You can choose to have the map for your navigation system in the middle of the speedometer right there. Distance to empty, you know, just going up into information. There's your odometer, trip computer, things like that, another digital readout, compass, distance to empty or your range, oil life, all the general stuff. So you guys have the idea. I do love how customizable this is. Instrument speed wipers, and this is where you adjust the delay. On the turn signal stock, we have the headlamps. By default, it's set to automatic, but you could shut it off too. Steering wheel tilts and telescopes electrically. Panel dim functions, and this is for the electronic e-brake. Notice these paddles. This is not for manual shift mode, as remember, this thing doesn't have a transmission, but this is for the regenerative braking. When you're driving around and you push those paddles, you can feel the car somewhat slow down, keep you at a steady speed, and at the same time, without having to put your foot on the brake, you push those paddles and you'll be recharging your battery. So that's a pretty neat idea. I love the choice of materials for this headliner. It's like a suede finish. The sun visor really isn't soft, but again, it's coated with that suede material. Mirror and vanity light, obviously LED lights. You can pop out the sun visor and extend it to block out sunlights. The map lights here in the overhead console. the home link garage door opener, and the OnStar buttons. Essentially, this is for roadside assistance. The rearview mirror dims, and it's bezel free. I love the design of it. So if you're 6'1" like I am, and decide that you're a big enough tough guy to tackle the back seat of an ELR, this is going to be the end result. There's virtually no room here. The driver's seat is adjusted, not where I would prefer, but as far forward as I can tolerate. And you can see here, as I tilt the backrest upright again, there's a problem here. It's just crashing onto my knees. Now, this is my headroom. It's very bad. This backseat is suitable for children or those who met the guillotine, because you have no headroom at all. Seat your mother-in-law back here, but not your best friend, because afterwards, they're gonna hate you if you shove them back here. But if everything is the other way around and the driver happens to be a midget, you can slide forward and actually be able to sit back here without crouching down, as I showed you a moment ago. We have these LED reading lights and a little coat hook here. Little compartment. Well, it's actually the cup holders. As you can see, it doesn't open electronically like in front, so you have to close it like so, but it's a nice touch. The armrest is nicely padded too, as is the rear deck. Now let me get out of here and move the seat forward by pushing that button. You can see how it makes things a whole lot easier. This car feels so weird. I mean, not that it's a bad thing, it's just I've never driven a car so silent. I mean, you're so accustomed to hearing an engine, you know, revving away. But you don't have that. You just have that slight whirl just because of the electric propulsion here. Oh, wheel chirp. 42, 45, shit, sorry. This thing's a little rocket. I have this thing in touring mode. Really, the suspension from the get-go is on the firm side, but I really don't mind it. It's not mushy at all, even in the touring setting. Right now I'm next to this Malibu. I have to go to the far right. Woo! I love it! Pure silence, but it's like I'm inside a slingshot. I've never would have imagined having fun driving an electric car. Though I do miss hearing a gas engine. This thing would have been nice if through the stereo it produced like a V8 engine sound, you know, that it varies along with your throttle inputs. Oh. I'm on the freeway briefly, of course. Going 47, I'm gonna merge in 48, floor it. Torque this thing provides instantly. It's just amazing. 65, and the thing just spins into the seat. 75. You know, I'm at a loss of words because I have no idea what to compare this car to. I've never driven a Leaf. Hell, I've never driven an electric car before. So this car is nearly at a class of its own. We have the Teslas, Nissan Leafs, Ford Fusion, Energies, and whatnot, but there's nothing else like this. There's no fear of running out of juice because you have the gas engine to help back you up. As opposed to the Tesla, you're calling a tow truck. I'm also amazed at just the amount of heads I'm turning with this car. More so than in the CTS and ATS. I mean, everybody just stares at this thing and it's just gorgeous. There's just no denying it. Right now I have it in hold mode and the gas engine is running. Oh, there we go. I floored it and the engine actually revved up. So at times it feels like a normally powered 4-cylinder car. the engine revs up according to the amount of power that you're consuming. Say if I were to floor it like this, the engine revs up to make up for that extra power. The setup of this thing is so fluid, it just works. In terms of the handling, there's nothing to complain about because it handles perfectly. It feels like a normal car, if anything, like a sports car. The handling isn't mushy, it's not sloppy, it feels planted, grounded to the ground, if that makes any sense. It's just shocking. It's so different. I mean, I expected that the ATS and the CTS-V Sport were going to drive nicely. Never thought that the ELR was going to be just as good. I'm going 45 miles per hour and I'm tackling these twisties, which otherwise in my 98 Volvo S90, I'd drive at half the speed. I mean, I feel so confident driving this car. Woo! Oh my gosh. Love this car. It's just amazing how far Cadillac has gone. Just the way this brand was resurrected. This is such a fine car. It really is. This thing really does give you a sense of what we're going to expect in the future. If we need to part away from the internal combustion engine and rely on electric cars or hydrogen or whatnot, dealing with cars that perform this way, then to be quite honest, I'm almost looking forward to it because I'm enjoying this car and I haven't yet consumed a single ounce of gasoline. Right now, I'm not missing the gas engine. I'm just loving every bit of this experience. It drives so beautifully. I questioned the price, and even though that $79,000 is tough to swallow, especially for a Cadillac, this thing will shock you, likely to the point that you'll fall in love with this car and probably forget about that price. But keep in mind that once you factor in all the perks that come associated in owning a electric car, the tax discounts from the dealerships, incentives, yada yada yada, you can easily slash off over 10 grand from the sticker price. And it makes this car competitive. If the sticker price really doesn't bother you and you want an electric car or are curious, really, just give the ELR a look, because it's very possible that you're going to drive out with one. There's just so few cars out there that deliver an experience like this. And if you happen to be in the Cleveland area and you're in the market for a new Cadillac, come on down to Crestmont Cadillac in Beachwood, Ohio, and talk to James Hecker. He can hook you up with a new Cadillac or pre-owned vehicle. Crestmont Cadillac is in the top 20 best performing Cadillac dealerships in the country and #1 in the state of Ohio. Let's not forget that, along with the best selection of cars. If you want to contact James, his information is within the annotations that are popping up and in the video description down below the video. So anyways, YouTube, thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed this tour.